So Lane Hutson just did that, and with 2 assists in yesterday's game against the Philadelphia Flyers in a Montreal Canadiens defeat, Hutson has put himself in the record books for all time. And I think for the majority of folks who are watching this video who are not Canadiens fans, you probably came to some sort of a conclusion just from listening to that intro and reading the title and looking at the thumbnail of this video that I want to challenge a little bit. Because I'm not going to say that these stats and some of these extended stats, and by the way, we will get into the extended stats, I'm not going to say that this guarantees anything. Lane Hutson can be a fantastic defenseman for the rest of his career. He could fizzle out and be more of a subpar Tyson Barrie type. It's not guaranteed that he becomes the next Quinn Hughes or a Cale Makar. It's not even guaranteed that he plays well next year. Nothing is ever guaranteed. But for right now, these stats are absolutely crazy, and he has legitimately beaten out Hughes and Makar. I'll start out with that. So let's talk about the biggest stat that the NHL was posting about yesterday. This happened in the game against the Flyers. Hutson grabbed himself 2 assists, which puts him up at a whopping 51 assists on the year. 5 goals, 51 assists for 56 total points in 71 games played. Hutson has now achieved the 3rd most assists in a season by a rookie D-man in NHL history. And I know, right? That is a ridiculous thing to go out there and show, but the NHL provides the proof in the very next screenshot of the tweet here. Number 1 all-time in rookie D-man assists in a season is Larry Murphy, who had 60 in 1980-1981. 80 games played, 16 goals, 60 assists. Okay, Hutson is not going to touch 16 goals, but he has a slim chance to maybe getting 60 assists. Chris Chelios, also for the Habs, is number 2 with 55 assists in 74 games played. Chelios, of course, was a monster, just a physical specimen of a human being. He did that 40 years ago. And Lane Hutson is right there with 51 assists as well. Now, just in case you needed the extra update, just in case you needed the list, if you go over to the NHL's website and you sort by all-time rookie defenseman assists, you will find that Lane Hutson, okay, firstly, he literally has more assists than everybody else not named Murphy or Chelios, but there are some really notable names on this list here. Stefan Persson had 50 assists as a rookie D-man, Gary Suter had 50 assists, Nick Lindstrom had 49, Ray Bourque had 48, Brian Leetch had 48, Phil Housley 47, Quinn Hughes had 45, Moritz Seider had 43. I get that not all of these guys are the same age, and not all these guys play in the same era, and in fact, all of these guys have more goals than Lane Hutson has right now. But ultimately, if you just want to boil it down to the number of assists, Hutson is right up there. And I do kind of find it interesting how Seider is there as one of the more productive rookie D-men we have ever seen. He doesn't get the credit he's due, though, because he's a lot more of a two-way defensive force. But Quinn Hughes and Cale Makar are indeed underneath Lane Hutson. And I get the main argument that people will go out there and toss. Hey, Quinn Hughes was playing in a difficult situation in Vancouver because he had to deal with Alex Edler still being there, fighting for the number 1 spot. And then if you scroll even further down, you'll find Cale Makar, who only had 38 assists in his rookie campaign, although he did it in 57 games played. He has the same amount of assists as a rookie as Luke Hughes did, who had 38 assists in 82 games. But Cale, of course, a lot of people are going to go out there and say, hey, wait a minute, Cale Makar had so many fewer games played than Lane Hutson and way more goals, so it's not really fair to compare the guys 1-to-1, and I'll say that's not entirely wrong. Lane Hutson is a lot less of a goal scorer than Cale Makar and Quinn Hughes are, and I'd say even Quinn Hughes has definitely been more of a goal scorer this year compared to when he was a rookie D-man. Who knows if Lane Hutson ever unlocks that sort of element in his game, but when it comes to just pure assist grabbing, Hutson is 3rd overall all-time, with 10 games to go. So there is a very realistic chance that he becomes second, overtaking Chris Chelios, and an even slimmer chance that he becomes the first most productive rookie defenseman in terms of assists in NHL history. Now, I know the assists per game argument is going to exist out there for folks that look at these numbers and say, hey, but Lane has played 71 games. A bunch of the other guys like Hughes and Makar only had 60 and 50 games. That's a great point. So what I did, because the NHL does not have assists per game metrics available on their website, was I exported this page. You can export all the NHL stat pages by using a little export button on the right side, and I imported all this data into my Excel spreadsheet. From there, I was able to add an assists per games played metric, and this is what we are looking at. If you sort by assists per game of the top 50 guys, so obviously guys that are not in the top 50 who have fewer than 31 assists are going to be considered, which makes sense because the sample size definitely plays a part into it. You'll see that when you sort by assists per game, Lane Hutson is still 4th overall. Only Chelios, Murphy, and Stefan Persson have more assists per game than Hutson does. Hutson has a higher assists per game than Makar and Hughes. Now, points per game is an entirely different metric. Unfortunately, if you're looking for Lane Hutson to be beating out anybody there, it's not really going to happen because 56 points in 71 games is a lot fewer compared to Cale Makar and then compared to some of the other guys that were a lot closer to a point per game. The guys that scored a bunch of goals had a lot going for them. So Lane, unfortunately, with his 5 goals, which actually is one of the lowest amounts on this list, period, it doesn't help him out. But if you're looking at just assists, he is there. And I'd say stylistically, Quinn Hughes is maybe the guy who has the most comparable aspects to Lane Hutson. So this man is literally going out there and breaking records, setting things up, and being the best version of himself. And you wonder what would have happened if this guy was placed on the first power play for the whole season, if he didn't have to, quote-unquote, earn his minutes and play behind Mike Matheson as the number 1 offensively minded D-man on the team. If he just had a full season's worth, then you could say that he could have already broken the record. But then again, you can say that about most of these young rookie D-men. It's hard to get a top spot on an NHL team as a rookie defenseman. A lot of things need to go right. There needs to be an opening for you. You need to be talented enough, and the team needs to trust you to do it. For Quinn Hughes, it was difficult because it was Alex Edler's last year in Vancouver, who was just coming off of being the quote-unquote top power play guy. So there was a little bit of a transition there. It just fizzled out because the end of the season was shut down due to COVID. Makar and Hughes had the same rookie year, by the way, so that's kind of how I remember everything from 5 years ago. But for now, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about Lane Hutson having the 3rd most assists out of any rookie defenseman in NHL history. Thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. Sign on, and bye.